Bautista, the runner at first, one away here in the 8th inning. Beltre ducks off a tough hop, and the throw is wide down the line, and there we got a tie at second. Bautista picked on the wrong guy as Odor came right at him, and we got the benches empty in that. There's some pent-up emotion going on out of Globe Life Park.
Well, Bautista got the worst of that exchange.
The fans may have been waiting since last October, but it looks like the Rangers and Blue Jays were waiting since last October. And there was some serious. You don't normally see that kind of fight in a major league game, but and Dale Scott now. Here's the play as it occurred.
No doubt what he was trying to do at second base.
Sure. And now DeMarlo Hale getting an explanation. Here's the close-up.
That's the kind of slide they're trying to eliminate.
Yep. And I think Odor, you saw Odor dropping down. Rudnett said nope.
Whoa. I think Bautista got all he could handle with that.
Odor's now 2 for 5 today.
Wow. That's some pretty solid contact right there.
Yep.
That was an illegal slide. That's got to be a double play. That's what they're trying to eliminate. That's an illegal slide, a cheap shot. He missed him. And the one thing that didn't miss was Rudnett's punch.
As the Rays get a run back in the top half of this inning. Shields hits crisp, and Coco is going to head out. Here we go. And just like that, it turns into fight night at Fenway Park.
Well, I don't think there was any question it was going to happen. It's just a matter of when it was going to happen. It happened right in his first at bat. You know, sometimes it's almost smarter to wait a while. That time they go right after Coco Chris the first time out. And quite frankly, I was surprised to see Coco go to the mound.
He's still fired up as they finally get him out from underneath the pile. I was too. I thought he was going to head down to first base when he first took that first step.
Well, Navarro's still hot out there. The catcher at something. He's trying to get at somebody, and his teammates are holding him back. The question is Shields going to be gone for throwing at him? There's the punch. He misses him with the punch, and Coco comes right back. But now he's in a tough shape because he's got 4 or 5 guys around him. Johnny Gomes with that shot right there. You could see that. I don't know who was on the bottom of that pile.
Jerry, I guess if there's a silver lining to this, I guess you have to give Shields some credit for throwing low and not throwing at his head. I mean, is there any credit there whatsoever in that situation?
Oh,
they're going to throw at him.
Absolutely. There's no question they were going to throw at him. And you're right, Don. He didn't throw at his head. And that's the reason I was a little bit surprised to see Coco go out there.
If he goes down to first, this is over.
Boy, he ducked the right, a big right, and then he caught him with a jab, you know, a right jab. And boy, then after that, everybody compiled. Look at Gomes. He threw a big shot. Navarro had, I think that was Coco at the bottom of that little pile there. Or that big pile, I should say.
Stolen 2 bases, scored 2 runs. They're shorting up at the corners on him, and he is hit by a pitch ball.
It's going to be trouble. That's going to be trouble.
He threw the bat.
And here come both benches. Dick Williams trying to control.
Billy Martin. Look at Billy Martin there. Martin's a scrapper, you know. He's in a lot of fights in his career.
That's John Rice. No, it isn't. One of the other umpires has Billy. He's after Campaneris for throwing the bat at his pitcher. Billy Martin is incensed, and Campaneris has every right to be mad also because they took away one of his most valuable assets if they hit him in a bad spot. It looked like right in the ankle. And somebody took that bat that Campaneris threw out at the pitcher and broke it in 2. And look at Martin. Is he mad? Johnny Rice has got him now. John Flaherty. Both benches storming out of the dugouts and out of the bullpens.
And here comes Jeff Pickler to the mound. There is a serious conversation going on right now, and Garrett is hot. And now there's some serious chirping coming from the Pirates dugout. And now Garrett's on his way to the dugout, and here we go. Oh! Garrett goes in there punching. This is not a good scene at all. You could feel it brewing and brewing and brewing. And I'm not sure the umpires are going to be able to break up this one.
Well, they're going to have to look back on this. There's David Bell, who came back out of the clubhouse. Going after Clint Hurdle, evidently.
Bell having words with Hurdle. Garrett went flying towards the Pirates dugout and went throwing punches. A certain suspension for him. David Bell, who had already been ejected from this game, out of the dugout, trying to get to Clint Hurdle. And they got to separate these two teams somehow, because this is not going to stop.
That's Sonny Gray and Chris Archer.
And now Puig from the back. Puig coming at Crick. Cooler heads need to prevail here. They need to get Puig off the field. They need to get David Bell off the field. It's Garrett on the mound, and he was talking to Jeff Pickler, and it had enough. And this is what started it. Garrett went flying in there with a punch that looked like it connected. Nope, it missed. Luckily. Suarez, the first red. there. In the bottom of your screen, you're going to see David Bell sprinting out of the Reds dugout, went straight for Clint Hurdle, pushed him away. Bell gets taken to the ground, put in a headlock. And really getting roughhoused on the bottom of the pile. And when he got up, it's as mad as you will ever see. And the words directly at Clint Hurdle. Amir, after starting it, second benches clearing situation between these two teams this season.
Trying to get himself under control. Now Ramirez. That ball's not even close.
You talk about looking for a reason.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. Don Zimmer and Pedro Martinez. Oh,
that's awful.
Don Zimmer, a 72-year-old man, went into Pedro Martinez's face, and Pedro Martinez threw him down. And now, with word of what's happened with Zimmer, the players almost separate from each other and all walk over and check on his well-being. And it was Pedro Martinez who threw him down. And it was Pedro Martinez that Zimmer tried to find when Ramirez started to stomp after Roger Clemens.
That's terrible. Awful. That was absolutely awful. You have got to be kidding me. You mean to tell me you don't know that Don Zimmer is coming? I mean, Don Zimmer?
Well, he came and swung at Pedro Martinez, it looked like. I'd like to see that replay again. I mean, I can't put all the blame on Pedro Martinez on that. And here's another look at that pitch that's no doubt up.
I think you got to go as far back as the takeout slide at second base. I mean, it started with the hit by pitch, but then Garcia comes across the base. I can put myself in his shoes.
Clemens' reaction after the pitch to Manny Ramirez. The interesting part is going to be who's going to be ejected from this game. I mean,
well, the ball has just broken out as parquet drill. Dean Palmer right in the back on the first pitch. And both pitchers have really fired out of that dugout. Now Juan Gonzalez out there behind the pitcher's mound. I can't see who they've got. Well, he's got one of his own players. And they're still getting after it out there at the shortstop position. Yeah, Weaver's out there. And Max Ordonez is taking on Weaver and somebody else. talking with Higginson and Osmus. So now, here comes some more. And it's liable to heat up again. There's a punch thrown by somebody.
Juan Samuel got no business out there.
There are a whole bunch of Tigers on a White Sox player. Now they're breaking up into groups. Somebody obviously got Keith Folk.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. You got guys out there throwing cheap shots when guys aren't even looking.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, somebody needs to go ahead and take a look at this video and see who's out there doing this cheap shots. You go out there, the job is to clear it out, let the guys air out that need to get it done. Pitcher, the hitter. After the fact, you don't come running in there throwing punches.
Well, Juan Gonzalez trying to be a peacemaker.
Yeah, Juan Samuel goes out there and throws a punch at Bill Seamus, and he's got no business. You got guys just running out there throwing punches at one guy.
Madlock got into it evidently as well.
I'll tell you what, payback is, you know what it is.
There was a lot of pressure on those guys to pitch shutouts and do great things if they had any chance at all to win.
Here's Ventura, RBI single in the first. Watch out. Look at this. Robin took exception to the pitch. And one after Nolan Ryan. Start things back up right here. And there's Lamont. And here we go again. I cannot see who is in the middle. Bo is in there. There's somebody drags out. Doug Manzolino. Jeff Schwartz.
Boy, Mickey Hatcher's got a pretty good cut over his right eye, as you can see right there. Boy, this thing's getting ugly out. Got to get these two teams back to their benches.
And we'll take another look at it.
Well, the pitch was behind him. No question. You know, Robin's been hitting that spot. That's at least the second time, and he delayed for a second. There they go.
Well, Rodriguez comes up, grabs Robin from behind. Now he turns Nolan around and gets him in a spot as there's Garcia and Lamont going at it. And I would imagine this is because they're probably going to allow Nolan Ryan to stay in the game, and they're going to throw Robin out. Here's where you get gone right there when the two guys come up and grab you. Now three got him. Now Robin turns him around.
Pasqua right in the middle of things. Jeff Schwartz trying to drag Rodriguez out of there.
Well, you could see that Nolan was hitting Robin right on the top of his head, so he probably hurt his hand a little bit in that thing, and he did get one good lick in on an uppercut.
Now Pascual Perez, who has had an eventful afternoon. He's pitched a fine ball game, scattering 5 hits, allowing just the 1 run on the Greg Nettles homer. And at the plate, he has been the cause of the ejection of 2 San Diego pitchers. Ed Whitson booted out in the 4th along with Dick Williams for throwing at Pascual. And then in the 6th inning, Greg Booker got the same treatment, as did interim manager Ozzie Virgil. So now Jack Kroll runs the club, and Lefferts delivers inside, and I think he's going to be gone too. Here come the Braves. They are going after Lefferts. For the 4th straight time, Perez coming to the plate, and we've got one going now. And there are some hot-tempered individuals out there. Pascual Perez not involved there. Well, I tell you what, this is about as good a little battle as you're going to see. We've got about 5 separate fights going on out in the field. Pascual Perez is not out there. He's gone back to the Atlanta dugout. Champ Summers went after Pascual Perez, while all the other players congregated out in the middle of the infield. Summers headed directly for the Braves dugout. He was held back by somebody. Here he goes. Summers charging after Perez. Bob Horner has come out. We've got some fans involved now. Oh my. Oh my. This one is very close to getting totally out of control. A couple of fans have come down onto the field. Other fans were involved throwing things. There's still one fan down there in the middle of all that.
It looks like Rick Camp is trying to protect the Padre down there now. In a way, it's good a fan got involved, because that'll turn all the players. It's like a family feud. Turn all the players against the fan.
Okay, we've got one fan that's been grabbed by a couple of security guards. There we go again. Now Gerald Perry and Tim Flannery getting into it. Or is that Bavacqua? Flannery's been pulled out of that rhubarb, but we've had about 6 or 7 separate fights break out here. Security guards down in the field have a couple of fans in handcuffs, leading them off the field. Flannery's been pulled back by Joe Pignatano. It's not so funny anymore.
A couple of fans there have been handcuffed. They're being let off. I wonder if Horner re-injured his hand. He was trying to prevent it down in front of the Atlanta dugout. John McSherry now right in the middle of it, and he's saying, everybody get back where they belong.
Rick Baylor, Steve Petrosian, and Gerald Perry. Okay, we've got the word now on the players who... And that pitch hits Greg Nettles, and he's going after Donnie Moore. Here we go again. Nettles in the middle, Moore backing out. The benches are emptying again. My, oh my, oh my. The Goose is involved. I have never seen a ball game where so many separate incidents have occurred.
Now here come the guys who were thrown out earlier for the Padres coming back out.
Here's who was thrown out during the last melee, along with pitcher Craig Lefferts and acting manager Jack Kroll. From San Diego, Bobby Brown was thrown out. Goose Gossage going after Donnie Moore. They're heading toward the Braves dugout again. Here goes Greg Nettles after Moore, and he was really tackled in front of that Braves dugout. The last time these two teams had the benches empty, Lefferts was ejected. So was Jack Kroll. Bobby Brown was ejected from the game for the Padres. Champ Summers was ejected from the game. And 3 members of the Atlanta Braves, Rick Mailer, Steve Bedrosian, and Gerald Perry, were all thrown out. Nettles, at the bottom of all that, Joe Torre pulling Alan Wiggins away. Steve Bedrosian, who's been thrown out of the game, is out in the field. And we got another one breaking out. Another one is breaking out. Gene Garber pulling Tim Flannery away from somebody. Yet another fight is broken out in front of the dugout. A couple of the Braves players who have been ejected, Rick Mailer and Steve Bedrosian, are both out in the field. So is Gerald Perry. That could get them in some more trouble. Joe Torre is down on the ground with somebody. You saw Rick Mailer a moment ago. Bedrosian and Perry are both also out there. They've all been thrown out of the game. Eddie Haas walking Gerald Perry back to the dugout now, trying to get him off the field. Right in on the hip, and that's a pitch that's impossible to get out of the way of. And we've got more trouble breaking out. The Padres and some fans are getting into it over by the Padre dugout. The umpires and the security guards head over that way to try to fend off any problems over there.
Now a fan is trying to steal a batting helmet, and he's going to get leveled.
Jerry Royster just tackled a fan over by third base. Padres are coming out again. A fan tried to come down on the field and run off with a batting helmet. Ed Whitson trying to get back out on the field. Norm Sherry, Harry Dunlop restraining him. Yet another fan being walked off the field by security.
Ground ball hit down to first base. Milner has it, throws to Buddy Harrelson. 1 to first. Double play! And a fight breaks out. Pete Rose and Buddy Harrelson. Both clubs spill out of the dugouts. And a wild fight is going on. Jerry Kuzman's in the middle of the fight. Everybody is out there. Buddy Harrelson and Pete Rose got into it. Rose apparently thought that Harrelson had done something in making the double play. Rose outweighs Harrelson about 35 pounds. And now, Buzzy Capra is in a fight. Capra's in a fight out in center field. Another fight breaks out.
In the opposite field and a base hit. Here comes the runner. Here comes the throw. And let's see. He holds on to it. Does he hold on to it? And they have a fight. Here they go. And the bench is empty. Pinella and Carlton Fisk. And Bill Lee is hurt. Bill Lee is lying on the first base line, and he is hurt. A couple of the Yankee ball players jumped on him. Rick Burleson and a couple of others came over to try to pull him off, but he went down, and he is up now, holding his arm or something. Now going over to a couple of the Yankees, and there they go again. Mickey Rivers is in the middle of it. Mickey Rivers is the guy that's trying to hit everybody with a sucker punch. He's not getting anything. He's just running around behind everybody trying to hit him in the back of the head. I see Samlis in there. I saw Velas in here. Enrico is going berserk now. Things have gotten out of hand here at Yankee Stadium. And Bill Lee is really hurt.